You've heard this before. Keep something kind of like a dua journal, a dua book, in which you write down things you need to talk to Allah about, things you need to ask forgiveness for, things that you need to request, things that need work, things where you need help, so on and so forth. But you got to increase your dua during the month of Ramadan. The Prophet ﷺ, the Quran, in the verses about the month of Ramadan, Allah says, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِي عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ أُجِيبُ دَعْوَةَ الدَّاعِ إِذَا دَعَانِ. That I always answer the du'as of the one who calls out to me whenever he or she calls out to me. It's in the verses about the month of Ramadan that Allah is saying, I will answer all of your du'as. But you got to talk to me, Allah is saying. The third thing, as a kind of a bullet point that I'll mention here, that we got to focus during the month of Ramadan, is, obviously it goes without saying, being punctual and regular about our prayers, our 5 times daily prayers, but on top of that, making a little bit of time to pray something extra during the nighttime during Ramadan, which I talked a lot about. And of course I mentioned the hadith. The Prophet ﷺ said, somebody who prays every night consistently throughout the month of Ramadan, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all the sins of that person. So we got to make some time. Quality over quantity. Let it be quality, but a little bit, but quality. The fourth item that I'll mention here is that, of course, we all have iftar. Iftar is quite an event. But the Prophet ﷺ, he specifically talked about the importance and the virtue during the month of Ramadan of providing and having your iftar with people, with others. Now that includes both people who can afford their own iftar and also those who cannot afford their own iftar. But break bread together with people. So have iftars together where you have family members and friends and co-workers and neighbors, your community folks. Have iftar together. But also do specifically try to create an outlet and an opportunity where you are also providing iftar for those who do not have the ability to arrange for their own iftar. Those who don't look forward to iftar, because there is no iftar for them. Make sure that you are also maybe making some cuts, some cutbacks in your own elaborate iftar plans, and making sure that you're providing the iftar for someone else. In the hadith of Nasa'i and Tirmidhi, the Prophet ﷺ is narrated to have said that man fattara sa'iman kutiba lahu mithla ajrihi illa annahu la yunqasu min ajri as-sa'imi shay'un. That someone who provides food for someone else to do iftar with, that person gets a duplicate of the reward that the fasting person got without taking anything away from the reward of the fasting person. Meaning, if I provide iftar for Muhammad still gets the reward of his fast, but Allah will duplicate his reward and give it to me as well. Double the reward and give me an equal reward as well. Alright? So, it's definitely a lot of motivation to provide some iftar for people during this Ramadan and to break bread together in the community. The fifth thing that I wanted to mention here was that the Prophet ﷺ, this one's kind of tough. This one's tough to even talk about in the community. Can you imagine that? What must have happened where it's even hard to talk about? The fifth thing that I wanted to mention here is that the Prophet ﷺ, he taught us about a very specific act of devotion, virtue, reward, worship, ibadah. It's called i'tikaf. I'tikaf, for those who don't know, it means to restrict, to confine yourself to the masjid. The Prophet ﷺ used to do this for 10 days. He would not leave the masjid for 10 days, the last 10 days of Ramadan. But the principle that we have in fiqh is that if you can't do all of something, at least do a part of it. Something's always better than nothing. So this Ramadan, during the last 10 days and nights, even if you can't spend all 10 days, because maybe you've got little kids, you got your work, whatever it may be. But maybe you can take out 1 day, maybe 2 days on the weekend, maybe 3 days. Whatever it is, take out at least a day and then go up as much as you can afford to, where you will basically make the intention of i'tikaf. You bring yourself a little bit of food, you bring yourself a little sleeping bag to sleep in, and you're basically going to confine yourself to the mosque. I'm not going to leave the masjid for 24 hours. I'm not going to leave the masjid for 48 hours. I'm not going to leave the masjid for 72 hours. Whatever it may be. But you've got to do something. And up to 10 days. The Prophet would do 10 days every Ramadan. With all the responsibilities he had. No one ever had more responsibilities than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But he did this. Because it recharges your soul. We need it. You know, whenever you have a relationship and the relationship starts to get kind of rocky, what do? Got to take some time off and get some quality time, one-on-one time, quality time. All right? Leave the kids at your parents, at grandparents, and you and the wife got to get away for a couple of days. Got to reconnect, some quality time, one-on-one time. Well, what about my relationship with Allah? Don't I need some quality one-on-one time with Allah? Right? And so, it's very important. I'll tell you something. One of the moments that I've ever been the most inspired, that you probably, right, that you can imagine, that can be some remarkable scenario. It was a scholar in a cave on top of a mountain, right? No. One of the moments that I was the most inspired was an Indian dude who worked in IT. An Indian brother who worked in IT. But you know why he inspired me so much? Because I went to the masjid last 10 days in Ramadan. I go to the masjid and I saw him sitting in the corner of the masjid and he had like a little rolled up mat. A little rolled up mat and a little pillow behind him, and he was sitting there and he had a little bag next to him. And I asked him, "What's up?" And he's like, "Not much, what's going on?" I said, "You got your stuff here, what's going on?" He said, "Oh, I'm doing i'tikaf." I said, "Really?" I knew he worked in IT. So I asked him, "Don't you have work?" He said, "I do." So I said, "So how's this going to work?" So he said, "I have PTO, paid time off, paid leave, vacation days." He used like 6 or 7 vacation days to free himself up to do i'tikaf. Who does that? People take their vacation days to vacation. He invested his vacation days into his relationship with Allah. I was so inspired. I was like, wow, this man cares about his relationship with Allah. Man, I was so inspired. I admired him so much. And so that's something that it's tough. But at least a day, 2 days, 3 days, something. But do something this Ramadan. And then the last thing is, of course, sadaqah. Give charity. Donate. Give in good causes. Invest into your akhirah. And of course, the Prophet ﷺ said that sadaqah, it extinguishes the fire that your sins have lit. And it's protection from the fire of hell. And the Prophet ﷺ, كَانَ أَجْوَدَ النَّاسِ, he was the most generous person. وَكَانَ أَجْوَدَ مَا يَكُونُ فِي رَمَضَانَ, but the Prophet ﷺ was at his most generous during the month of Ramadan. So this Ramadan, specifically, make a few, again, like I said before, cutbacks in your life, and then free up some extra cash, and then invest it into something good, something that helps the ummah, helps the community. Inshallah, bi'idhnillah. So those were just a few points that I wanted to mention and share, and hopefully that's beneficial. I know that it's nearing the time for Salat al-Isha.
Yes.
It's the time for Adhan?
Yeah.
Alright. So inshallah we'll call the Adhan for Salat al-Isha, and then we'll get ready for Salat al-Isha. Jazakumullah.